Hello everyone, Lily the Deck Harlot here. Welcome back to my channel. And today I thought I'd do another VR that was done a year ago. And I think Simon from The Hermit's Cave is the one that started it. And it's called My First Tarot. And it's basically describe your experience with your first tarot deck or how you came to find tarot. And in my case, I was going through a divorce at the time, and I forget what kind of book I had with me at work. And one of my coworkers, she says, did you know that there's a bookstore downtown that specializes uh, in metaphysical books, or self-help, religious, and metaphysical books, occult. And I think they also had a nutrition section. So, but anyway, first chance I got, I went to visit that store because, as you know, going through a divorce is not an easy experience. And in hindsight, that divorce was basically my tower moment in my life. Like when I think of the towers and the tower experience, that was it, because it literally pulled the rug from under me. But anyway, the back to my first tarot. So I started going to this bookstore, and originally when I was going there, I was going through looking for self-help book on how to cope with divorce and how to try and figure out what happened and why, and how to, well, basically how to start feeling better again. And it was only after I've been going there for a few weeks that I started venturing into other parts of the bookstore. And it was a really neat bookstore because it was in an older Victorian house, so you had to go to different rooms for the subjects you were looking for. And eventually I found the tarot deck section, and I'm like, oh, like that could be something that would interest me. And so I started looking at the tarot decks, and because where the tarot decks were and the tarot books, you had at the bottom you had the books, and on top of it you had a deck, not a deck, but a shelving unit that was glass, that had a glass door, and that's where they stored all the individual tarot decks. And some you could actually pull out because they had a deck that was open and you could look at them, and others don't. They had the cellophane on it. So anyway, so I started looking at the books and I started looking at the deck, and I was comparing what book I could get and if I could get the matching tarot book, the tarot deck, I mean. And at the time, I had a visceral reaction to the Rider-Waite-Smith. I just hated it. Like, there was no way you could pay me to get that deck for some reason. Like, I just hated it. But all the books, that's what you had. You had the Rider-Waite-Smith book. And so finally, I'm looking down, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking down, I'm looking up, and trying to see if I can find one deck. And finally, I hit about on one deck. And I don't have the box anymore, but it was this deck, the Hanson Roberts deck. And the only book I found in the bookcase was this one, where you actually had the image, like the actual, card image that wasn't Rider-Waite. And so this is what I bought. And here's the deck. Like I said, I don't have the box anymore, so I keep it in this little tin here that I was looking to find. And it's actually, like, this was all done in, I think she did this in pencil. All the art is in pencil. And it's a little bit childlike, or not that I understand what the term, but my tarot teacher actually calls this a Piscean deck because it's softer. And so it is a Rider-Waite clone. You know, the same symbols are used. But what I really like about this deck as well is the size, because as you can see, you know, like I have small hands, and you know, compared to the tarot deck, you know, compared to Rider-Waite, like it's one of the few decks that I can actually riffle shuffle. That's the way you call it. So I've had this deck now for 28, 29 years, and I can't say I use it a lot. I say that from a lot of my decks actually, but it's the one I keep because it is my first tarot deck. So now, to finish my story is eventually, you know, talk about being blinded or being so focused on that section of the store that it took me, I think, at least a month, if not 2 months, to notice that next to the glass case where we had all the individual tarot decks, right next to it was the section where you could actually buy the deck and book sets from that, you know, we can find now in books, well, that we've always found in bookstores. So eventually the next deck I bought was, I think the following deck I bought was the Mythic Tarot. So, which actually had, you know, the deck and the tarot book with the right images. So there you have it. There's my story for my first tarot deck. So hope you enjoyed it, and have a nice day.